What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to go over just a few things that's been going on in the ecosystem these past couple of days, and stuff's starting to coil up, man. It's getting pretty exciting. I think the sentiment's about to change heavily within the next coming weeks, maybe a few months, with the whole Pulsechain launch. So let's dive on into it and go over a few things that I find pretty interesting. So what I want to start out with here is the HEX chart. The price has been dumping pretty heavy the past few days, and you can see right here it wicked all the way down to about 15 cents, which luckily I was lucky enough to scoop some up there. I was grateful for the 15-cent HEX. I don't know about you guys, but anytime you see a big red candle like that, I try to be on the receiving end of that and buy up as much as I can. But if we zoom out, you can see this trend line here from back last May in 2021. It's been a major support over the past year, and just luckily enough, we came down right to it, kissed right off of it, and today we have a nice green 2% candle up to the upside. And my opinion here is we do get a little reversal, and I think our first resistance would be at about 19 cents. I think we could pump up to about 19 cents and play around there for a little while, maybe come back down before, taking off. What I'm thinking is, after the Pulsechain sacrifice, we kind of see what HEX did, and I'm thinking, after this PulseX sacrifice, because we only got about 3 days left, I think a lot of the sell pressure and a lot of the so-called manipulation, if you will, if there is any of that going on, I think all that's going to come to an end, and everybody's going to be trying to scoop up this cheap HEX for the snapshot date for when, because all the HEX you have, or any ERC20s you have, you will get a copy of those over on the Pulsechain when it goes live. So I think we're going to see people start changing the pace here and see a lot more buying pressure than sell pressure, because everybody's going to be trying to get their bags packed ready for the Pulsechain launch. But let's move on over to the PulseX Sacrifice. Yesterday, the day ticked over and the volume multiplier bonus is officially over. So if you sacrifice from here on out, you will get a flat rate of 1.75 volume bonus for whatever you sacrifice. And right now the current rate is for every $8.15 you will receive 10,000 sacrifice points plus the 1.75x volume bonus, and there is only 3 days left. So nothing I say is financial advice, but if you are looking to sacrifice a little more, or if you haven't sacrificed yet, now would be your time. You are getting a little worse rate than everybody else, but it's better late than never. Because when Pulsechain launches, it's gonna stir up the crypto community, every community in crypto. It's gonna stir it up pretty hard, because this is something that's never been done before. There's gonna be a lot of wealth building going on. There's gonna be a lot of short time flippers going on, and what I see happening is when Pulsechain launches, I think PulseX and Pulsechain will take a pretty heavy dip, because you're going to have the people that don't really truly support Richard Hart and the ecosystem, and they just got into the sacrifice to try to make a quick flip and make a quick dollar. But it's unfortunate, because they're going to miss out on some life-changing opportunity and gains, and they're going to see it start happening. They're going to be scrambling to jump back in, but they're going to miss out on so much. It's sad that people can't delay gratification long enough to change their life, and that's an important key, and I learned it the hard way. I got wrecked when I first got in, but I've kind of learned from the HEX community and from my past mistakes to change your time horizon to nothing under a year. I mean, holding long term is definitely more positive than not, and it could also just possibly change your life in the meantime. But let's go on over here to Etherscan. And if we look here, you can see that the OA has officially sacrificed, and they sacrificed $18 billion. And what they did is the HEX that got sacrificed for the Pulsechain, what they did is they transferred all the HEX from the Pulsechain sacrifice over to the PulseX sacrifice. If I got the information right, I think it's 70% of the PulseX supply is going to be held by the OA, and I think it equaled up to about 13 trillion PulseX tokens. And if you're not from this community, this might scare you a little bit, but if you are familiar with this community and you kind of know what the OA is, it's a very, in my opinion, it's a good and positive thing, because the OA, whoever it is that owns this wallet, has the best interest at heart for this community, whether it be HEX, Pulse, or PulseX. You know, it has been known to never sell any kind of token that it likes, so it definitely has the best interest at heart. You know, it's doing nothing but just taking supply out of circulation. So don't let the OA scare you. It's definitely a controversial topic in the space. It definitely gets a lot of FUD from people that don't understand it. So just make sure, if you do have concerns about this, to actually reach out to somebody that knows what they're talking about, so they can kind of explain it to you in further detail. You can even comment down below or come jump in the Telegram and I'll answer it for you personally, or I can point you in the direction of somebody that can. And lastly, Peter Shit had a little tweet this morning talking about HEX, and if we look at it here, it says HEX is a cryptocurrency based on proof of weight, where suckers are rewarded for locking up their tokens so those who got in early can cash out. The only ones who benefit from the weight are those who don't. In the end, those who do will be left holding a worthless bag of HEX. So you can kind of see Peter Schiff here on the prowl. You know, the days are ticking down to where him and Richard Hart are going to have their debate. In my opinion, I think Peter's just searching around YouTube, trying to dig in as much as he can on Richard Hart, as much as he can on HEX, to try to come up with some ammunition to use against us, and he really can't. I don't really think he knows what he's walking into. Richard Hart's going to he's going to obliterate him, and it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilarious. Peter Schiff's a smart guy. He really knows what he's talking about, but when it comes to cryptocurrency and new tech, you know, he's just left in the dark. You know, some of it, if you just look back on some of his tweets of what he said about crypto, he was 110% wrong about every single thing he's ever said. Talking about Bitcoin, talking about Ethereum, talking shit, and he don't know what he's talking about. You know, if it ain't gold or his companies, he don't understand it. But unfortunately, that's what crypto does to a lot of the old financial system guys. It gets them in there and stirs them up, and it, you know, just pisses them off because it's something that's, you know, new, that's going to be coming up and taking over, and they don't want that to happen. You know, they want to keep all the wealth for themselves, and it's just unfortunate. But guys, that's all I got for this video. I just wanted to share some stuff that's been going on in the ecosystem that's, you know, kind of interesting. You know, stuff's getting closer and closer. The days are ticking down. Pulsechain is right around the corner. You know, we just ticked off another milestone with the volume multiplier being over by PulseX, and in 3 more days, the sacrifice will be over by PulseX. There's really going to be an uproar in crypto when this thing does launch, because if you think about it, what's all going on right now, you have a sacrifice phase for PulseX. You have a sacrifice phase for liquid loans. You have a sacrifice phase for Mintra, the OpenSea fork NFT marketplace. And you're also going to have Hedron coming up soon, where you can claim Hedron tokens for your HEX stakes. There's going to be a lot that happens all at one time when Pulsechain launches. And it's going to keep everybody busy. You know, it's going to keep everybody learning new things. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing to see how this all turns out, how this all ends up winds up in the end, how all the value transfers over, how the bridges work. It's exciting. I just want everybody that can to be a part of it. If you have any questions after watching this video, if you're not familiar with HEX or Pulse or PulseX or Richard Hart, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to walk you through some stuff, teach you about it, and hopefully answer any questions you may have. Guys, that's all I got. I'll see y'all in the next one.